First step to cleaning this mower up is to get a brush, and I sprayed this down with just some spray cleaner like 409 or something like that, because I gotta, before you start working on something, you gotta clean it up, otherwise all this dirt will end up inside the motor and everything else. So I gotta clean it up. So that's what I'm doing here with this brush. Now this is why you don't want to just take an old lawnmower and go trying to start it up, because if you did, all this stuff in here, this is all from mice getting in there, and it would blow all over in there from this blower, which is supposed to blow air down through the cylinders. And in fact, we even got a dead mouse. Look at that. Isn't he cute? I'm going to use this shop vac. It's kind of a big one, but I'm doing that because of the large diameter hose. I don't want to get it plugged up with this mouse nest here. Now you can see the way those cooling fins are all plugged up with that mouse nest. So there was another dead mouse in there. I got to get some more over here, and I'll have to take this off to vacuum inside the fins on that flywheel. Get this grill cover off. These screws are pretty tight, and that's not surprising. They may be rusty from all the mouse pee on them. That's real corrosive. It rusts everything. So this is what they call an impact driver. It works with a hammer. You take a hammer and you hit this end here while you're twisting on that screw. Well, at the same time you're twisting, it's also driving the screwdriver down in the screw. So it's pretty good for getting off tight Phillips head bolts. Now I got a little bit of a problem in that even with that impact wrench, I can't get this screw out of there. So I think I'm going to have to grind the head of it off in order to get this plastic thing off there. There we go. To get after I ground the head off that screw, now I got to get the little piece of screw out of there so I can put some penetrant on pretty easy now without that plastic blocking me. What I'm doing is I just tap that thing with a hammer to vibrate the threads so that the penetrant will go down inside there. That's just some liquid penetrant. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this nut loose and take the flywheel off so I can put it in the drill press, because there's so much mouse pee on there that it's really stuck. $17mm, that fit it. Now I'll want to look at the keyway in here to see if it's in the right spot, because if this thing ever hit a rock or a stake or something, it'll shear that keyway and it'll slip. But the keys are real cheap and it's an easy fix. A lot of lawnmowers, that's the only thing that's wrong with them, is a sheared key. Usually I get my wife to help me, and then I put my fingers under the flywheel and lift up. When she hits this nut, now you put the nut on there so it doesn't bung up the ends of these threads. You don't want to bung up your crankshaft here, those threads on there. So I put the nut back on and I hit it with a brass hammer. You don't want to use a steel one like this, because that might really bung up the nut and everything. So I use a brass hammer and thunk while you're holding it by the flywheel, and she hits it like that, boom, it'll pop right off. But this one appears to be loose. So that could be something wrong with it. We'll have to look at that. There we go. Yeah. The flywheel looks good and the keyway looks good, so it didn't shear the key. So that's good. I don't know why it was loose. It come loose pretty easy. Now we ought to be able to clean all that stuff out of there. This thing right here, I don't know if you can make it out, but that's like a brake pad, and it's hooked to a cable here, and the cable has a switch on there that turns off the ignition. That's this wire running around here, which I'm going to take loose. That's to shut off the ignition, and then this is the ignition coil, and it's held in there by just 2 screws. Hopefully it's still good and didn't get mouse pee on it too much. This is a safety item that they put on there so that somebody didn't stick their foot under the blade when they were messing with it. You have to hold a handle to hold it to keep it running. You can't start it unless you got that handle gripped. Well, that stuff's all going to go the way of the junk pile, because those are just a pain in the neck, those little brakes on there. And I don't know what year they started making them put it on there, but this is a newer one than I ever worked on, that's for sure. Pretty big though. I like the size of the cylinder, but I'm going to clean all that up, and I'm going to probably have to take that engine out and look at the crankshaft, make sure that's okay.